This is going to be a little bit higher energy, so I want just one small favor from everybody that's going to join for the talk. Can you just come in and join us up front, because we want to make this real intimate, real nice, real sexy. Come on up front, bring the dog. I love that. Fantastic. First, just want to say thank you to Nico and the whole TOA team. These events do not organize themselves. It is a true labor of love. And as anyone who went through the pandemic as an event organizer knows, total shit show. So thank you so much for the perseverance, the energy, and for hosting. Thank you, Nico and the team.
Thank you so much, Brad. Thanks so much for supporting also us along the way. We've been following, for many years what you do in the US, and it's truly inspiring. Who is aware of sort of Summit series? There's a Summit crew. Tell us a little bit about your evolution. I mean, you started as a ski trip with a bunch of friends, and it turned into a festival that is attended from anybody like Jeff Bezos to Quentin Tarantino, I think A$AP Rocky, Kendrick Lamar. I mean, the lineup is insane.
Yeah, I think, it started, it's been going 15 years now. 39 actually, the day after tomorrow, so 15 years in just curiosity and building relationships with people. And it started because I was 23, I wanted to build a business, my partners all wanted to build business, but unfortunately we didn't really know our ass from our elbow and know anything about accounting systems, hiring practices, raising venture capital, self-funding, bootstrapping a company. So we figured we'd start to learn from other entrepreneurs. We, saw an Inc. magazine with 30 under 30. We saw a Business Week magazine with 25 under 25, and my partner said to me, holy shit, that's 55 entrepreneurs all running their own companies that are our age. I bet you there's another 100 of them out there somewhere. And this is like 2008, so this is at the beginning of like Web 2.0. And we started to use Facebook and Twitter just to reach out cold to the people that we wanted to meet, saying, hey, we're putting this event together because frankly, we weren't invited to any of the other, events. We weren't invited to TED or Davos or Clinton Global Initiative or any place where you'd meet people that were entrepreneurial. So we said, fuck it, we're just gonna host our own. And we started to cold call people, and we started to really understand sort of the idea that building a culture around entrepreneurs of collaboration, cooperation, and mutual support was something that was really exciting to people. Because if anybody here has their own company, raise your hand if you have your own startup or your own business, or you have it at any one time. Okay, so it's basically like you get kicked in the teeth every other week, right? Like things are going good, then you hit the wall. Then things are going good, you get a check, then you hit the wall. Then the guy that said he's gonna write you the check says, oh, sorry, went to investment committee. Oh, this isn't, a little too early for us. We wanna catch you on the next one, right? Like entrepreneurs have to deal with all of this bullshit just to bring their idea into the fold. And so it's very much like we experience this epidemic of like loneliness and isolation, and the American response to that was like crush it culture, right? Like, oh no, we just raised a bunch of money, we're crushing it, everything's going good, growth is like up and to the right, it's like a hockey stick, we're on an exponential growth curve. But most of it's just bullshit to try to prove to people that like things are going okay. But what we started to learn was that like intimacy, relationships, authenticity, being real with people is the thing that starts to build around you a group of people that are there to support you, and really to like change the concept of networking, because networking was sort of this idea of like quid pro quo, like, oh, like I'm looking for investors, so I'm gonna go to the networking thing and I'm gonna meet some investors, and really just to like blow that whole thing up and to appreciate that like for everyone who has a company or a brand or a body of work or an agency, the like building community is really important for you too. Not just in the fact that like you call the people that are your users a community, but in so much as that like building your own community, being a community builder yourself, and treating relationships in a way with authenticity, curiosity, and enthusiasm for the people around you is the thing that builds that big wall to support you when you run into all those challenges. And so if you're networking and you're looking for an investor and you meet someone, you say, hey, I'm looking for an investor. That person maybe knows a few investors, right? But that if you just forget about the thing that you're trying to gain, and you stop with this idea that, relationships are like chips on a table that we trade back and forth, and I do a favor, and then I earned you a favor, and then you earned a favor from me, and just forget about that and think about relationships more as like a muscle, where it's like, I'm exercising this relationship every day. I'm doing things for these people every day. I'm finding ways to let my curiosity develop a relationship with this person to understand their business and almost looking at it like you're building a map. When you understand someone's business, it's like, what are your challenges? Who would fund you? Who are your customers? What do opportunities look like? What are your challenges? What do you do in your personal life? What are the things that you're into? What are your special interests? What causes do you support? And if you really lead with your curiosity in these relationships and you get to know people in like a really deep way, you start to understand the whole universe of what's important to them. And if you focus just like on building an authentic relationship with that person, you'll find ways organically to add value. You say, oh, okay, because most times like what someone needs as like a gating function to the next stage of their business represents an opportunity to someone else. It's someone else's business as well. So if you're always learning, and it's like, forget business school, but like if you actually look at the relationships and the people around you, all the people at this conference as an opportunity for you to get your like interpersonal MBA and like learn some shit about their business, you'll start to deepen and broaden your understanding of the whole landscape of business and what opportunities look like for people. And then you'll find many more ways to add value. And so I feel like in that regard, if you take that approach, then you get the whole 360 degrees of somebody's network, because you never knew who else they know who might, connect with you on a personal level or over personal interests. And then that individual might know a family office that's throwing around a big bag of money and might want to fund your next round. And so really that's the one thing I just wanted to focus on, was that like you are your own community builder, and very much take a page out of my American Millennial book. Approach people, be curious, don't be shy. People want to share stories, people want to share energy, and if you bring that authentic curiosity to people and you're genuinely interested and engaged in what they do, and you're looking for ways to connect dots all the time, that's your job. Be a dot connector. And these people will get behind you and rally for anything that happens, whether your lead VC drops out, whether you lose your product lead, or you're looking for another CTO, or you're going through a divorce and you need to get out there and meet new people and like shake shit up and change your life and make a left turn. Like those are the people that are going to stand behind you. And that's the biggest thing I've learned through Summit. Like he mentioned like the Jeff Bezos thing. It took me 7 years to get Jeff Bezos to come to Summit. I asked every single year, twice a year. I met his brother. His brother was a fireman and ran a big foundation in Manhattan focused on poverty. And so we just started giving to the foundation, bringing entrepreneurs to help work on creative solutions to solve poverty in New York City. And every year we say, hey, Mark, can we get Jeff this year? He's like, no, not this year. Can we get Jeff this year? Not this year. 7 years it took. So it's like, don't be afraid to ask for the help that you need. Don't be afraid to introduce yourself to people. It's super easy. I just go up to somebody and say, hi, my name is Brett. Who are you? It's so easy. It's like, hi, my name is Brett. Who are you? 8 words that change your whole life. So definitely hope that that provides a little bit of context, because with that mentality and that authenticity and that curiosity, you could build a huge network behind you of people that genuinely care about you, your story, your journey, your life, and it ultimately will lead to a much more enriching founder story and hopefully much success.
Love it. We still have time.
Yeah, questions. Let's do questions.
We have time for maybe half a question more. No. Just quickly, maybe we open it up. Are there questions already out there? If not, think of questions. Also, Stefano has Slido. You can either, put them into slido.com, TOA23, or you just shout them out. We're, sort of a smaller group.
That's why we're all in close. You could just stand up and ask a question. Remember I said don't be shy, lead with your curiosity. Who wants to show us how it's done? Okay.
How did you go from this community networking aspect to Powder Mountain property real estate?
Totally. Yeah, the question was, how do we go from a live event to a community and to doing this development on Powder Mountain? So,
which maybe just briefly, you're also developing a mountain.
Yeah, so 11 years ago, we learned that the largest ski resort in the United States was for sale, and it was roughly the same cost as a townhome in Manhattan because it wasn't so well developed, and there were more fancy resorts in Utah, and so. One of my mentors was Tony Hsieh, the founder of Zappos, and he came to an event we did at the White House with Obama in 2009, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and Tony unfortunately passed away, but it was like late at night, and he kind of put me in a headlock, and he said, are there any people at this event that if they didn't have their fame or their money or their success, that you wouldn't invite them. And I was like, no, everybody's very cool. Like, I'm so happy to have everyone, like being super diplomatic. And he kind of like wrenched down on my eyes, like, no, like, is there anyone here like you wouldn't invite if they didn't have their money or their success? And I was like, okay. Like, yeah, maybe like 1 or 2 people. And so he lets go. He goes, good. They can't come anymore because your culture is far more important than that. And we started to understand that people follow rules really well. Like, we all renew our driver's license when it expires. We all renew our passports. We all pay our taxes every year. If you tell people what to do and how you want them to be in an environment, everybody falls into that mindset. And that's how we built a culture. The culture was like, come, be your most hospitable self. Don't take selfies with the famous people. Don't fanboy the famous people. Don't snub the people that are starting out just because they're starting out, but to like treat people with like curiosity, authenticity, and interest, and give them your time, give them your attention, give them your presence, and also like go on a learning safari, and that the mentality that like everyone has a lot to teach, but even more to learn, like all of these things to teach people just to like play nice together, started to create this environment where people who were just starting out were getting a lot of recognition from the people that were really established, and also the people that were really established were really engaging and connecting with people that were young, because the crazy thing is like everybody needs something. If you sold 5 companies and you made a shitload of money, well, congratulations. Now you have a family office and you have to spend money just to pay people to tell you where to go invest your money. So you want to meet people that are worthy of your investment, worthy of your time, worthy of your engagement, worthy of your introductions, and do well by you, and like, are compelling and interesting to the people that you introduce them to. So it was like, we built Summit with a culture, and everybody was like tripping on this culture because it was like so open, so candid, and so many interesting people from different walks of life that were like sharing stories, recognizing each other, and really having this experience of authentic community. And we were only doing 1 event, maybe 2 events a year. And outside of the events, people were getting together every weekend in New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles. People were hosting dinners at their house, hosting parties, bringing the Summit community together. And so everybody had this insatiable appetite to be in this authentic community where they could be themselves, don't have to pretend that they're doing anything that they're not, and just lead with that authenticity. And skiing is my favorite thing in the world. So when we found out that the biggest ski resort in the United States was for sale, we were like, fuck yeah, we're gonna go buy that. Like, let's do that, And the idea was that we were gonna build a community where Summit could live 24/7, 365 days a year, where there's interesting programming, interesting people, and sort of totally like summitize the real estate model, where it's like, right now in the States, when there are real estate developments, they're only broken up by how expensive the product is, which is actually kind of stupid, because if you think about it, like, you don't hang out with people that make the same amount of money as you do. You hang out with people that are into the same shit that you are, that have the same values, that have the same ethos. And so we thought, man, like, how cool would it be to have a community where your neighbors weren't just people that have the same amount of money as you, but people that were interested in the same things and supporting the same things as you. So we told everybody, like, we were doing an event in January of 2012, and secretly the event was in Lake Tahoe, so it was only a 60-minute flight from northern Utah, where the resort is. So secretly we like chartered this big plane, like a 747, and we quietly gave like 100 people these little cards that says, hey, like, we're taking you on a surprise journey, like, meet us in the lobby on Monday morning at 11 a.m. and block your calendar out for the next 72 hours. And we took 100 people to the mountain and told them, hey, this is where we're going to build the community of the future. It's going to be all about supporting entrepreneurial and artistic achievement. And that's how we started to, sell real estate to people like Richard Branson and Kobe Bryant and, founders of like all the big tech companies, and, people that just wanted to be in this environment where they could feel like themselves, feel authentic, and just meet interesting people. And it's something that I think we're going to continue to do, because we've sold over $120 million worth of real estate. We just brought on Reed Hastings, who's the founder of Netflix, to be one of our partners in the project, and to finally bring some big capital to the table to build things out a little bit more quickly. And now we're like looking for the next project. So very much like want to keep going and keep building.
I have one more. Oh no, you go. Please, go for it. Go for it.
I wanted to ask, how do you evaluate like young, ambitious individuals who don't have like the credentials of like Jeff Bezos, but might become like next Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, awesome question. He was like, how do we decide who gets to come and how do we pick people who maybe are just starting out? Like for us, it's not at all like YPO. YPO is like you have to have 50 employees or $10 million in revenues. Like we don't have any quantitative sort of qualifications. We're recruiting people towards the psychographic. It's like, are you an innovator in the work that you're doing, regardless of the level of trade or the level of success? Like, are you looking at things a different way? Are you an entrepreneur at a big company? Like, are you helping to change corporate, the corporate world from the inside? Are you an artist with an interesting, compelling body of work? Are you an astronaut, a physicist, a street artist? Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, have you taken the initiative to go out into the world and to try to create something? Then you're included. And also just like good people of kind-heartedness and character and integrity. Just good people, that's it. You don't have to be anything more than that. So we're very open-minded. So I would encourage everyone to go on the Summit site. It's summit.co. There's no M, we couldn't afford the M. But go online, definitely submit an application, say you heard me talk here, and hopefully I look forward to hosting some of you at Summit in the future. Thank you so much for having me.
Brad, thank you so much. Perfect on time. You saw the clock.